Hello, in this video we will be discussing the products and rates in the Steltronic Focus-NEX system. So once you're in the products and rates, we have some various different areas here. We'll first go into the bowling rates. If we click on the plus next to this area, we have bowling, shoes, and socks. If you click on bowling, you can then access the bowling rates. And here we have several rates. If I scroll up and down, you can see the rates. Whichever rate is highlighted in yellow is the rate that you're working on. This rate that's in yellow will also have the corresponding tax, and sometimes this is minimized so you can access these by clicking on the little arrows, and you can add or remove tax. You can set rates, slots, and prices. But if we go back up here to the open play rate, the system automatically assigns each rate a code, or you can change the code if you want to, but all the codes must be unique. You can type in a name for a code for a rate and a description. The rate should be enabled. We have rates that are called manager rates that are only accessible to those that have the manager rate authorization. And we have rates that are comp rates. Comp rates are used for more like parties and events where um, if a manager rate is used, the comp rate means that it's free and the employee can continue to use the rate after the manager approves it, and there will be no charge. Member rate means that it's a rate that can be assigned to a member, and it's only used in the membership. And child rate means that this is a rate that is for children, and we have a way of changing the scoring grid color to signify that this player on that lane was assigned a child rate. So it could be a way of um, making sure that employees are not giving out a rate that is intended for children to somebody else. We have a start and end date, so you can click on the little drop down and choose a date of when this rate can be used from. For example, if you have a rate that's only going to be available during the summer, you can set the dates that that rate is available. We have ranking. Ranking is very important as this is what signifies which rates will be the default rate at the time that you're issuing a lane. So the lower the number, that rate will be the rates that will come up by default. So 0 will be lower, is the lowest, and it can be set for rates that you want to be the default, such as like an open play rate, or maybe rates that um, during that time there if you may have a special going on and everybody wants that special, and so you can set that as a default rate so that when you open the lane, that rate will automatically come up by default. Splittable rate is something where in a post-paid environment, um, an hourly bowling rate can be set to split if somebody leaves early. It's not something that is very widely used in the United States. Then we have days of the week where you can assign which days of the week a rate can be used and when it will be available. We also have holiday checkbox. So if you're using rates for holidays, you can check this box and these rates will be available on a holiday. We also have pre-holiday. It's mostly used in Europe, but if you have a holiday rate, sometimes you want to make sure that this box is also checked so that you know, the day before a holiday, the rates are available. And so these are the different boxes in there that you can use to configure a rate. Down below, we have the rate, the tax rate that is assigned to this rate, bowling rate. And the taxes at the bottom, you can add and remove any taxes. For example, the California sales tax. Okay. And we have some various different settings within there, depending on what your needs are. You can have state and local taxes, so you can put whatever taxes are required for your area, or if your state or city has any liquor taxes or any different taxes, you can configure them all in here, and then you will be able to select them from the list here. And so you can click on, hit plus, and add a new rate, and any of the new rates will show up. Okay. You can also delete a rate. So if you had a rate and you didn't want it on there, tax rate, you can delete it. At the bottom, we have rate, time slots, and prices. So this is where you can set time slots or time periods that you can set rates for. For example, this open play rate has two um, time zones. So we have from 8 to 4:59 and from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. This allows you to select a rate for a specific time of the day, and you'll see that from 8 a.m. to 4:59, we have game per player, and it's $4 per game. At 5 p.m., if I click on this, the rate for that time zone or time slot changes and increases to 450. And so you can set different time zones. If you are setting a time, for example, here we have 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., you have to click this +1 checkbox first, and then you can set a time at after midnight, because this is technically on the next day. And so you check that box and it allows you to set that time to 1 a.m. As far as units, you have many ways that you can configure the system to charge: frame per player, game per player, hours per lane, hours per player sometimes is used for like cosmic bowling, or per lane. There's a couple of them that aren't necessarily used very often as far as frames and minutes per player or lane, but we have a lot of different ways that you can configure the system. So it's very customizable. And there's generally any which way that you would be charging for bowling, we have a way of setting that up. We also have quantity, so you can set quantity pricing. So we have from quantity and to quantity. And we also have for bowling special prices. So this allows you to set, you know, special price points. So if you had some odd number, uh, you know, uh, or setting quantities for games at certain prices, you can say one game at $3, two games at $5.50, and so on, and be able to set the prices exactly how you want them for that quantity. So it makes it very easy to set some of those quantity prices instead of having to worry about dividing something by three and it may not come up to a round number. And so there's easy ways of setting the pricing in the system any which way you need to. Again, if we click on these, it'll highlight and you can now work on this rate. So if I go up here, we have an hourly bowling rate, and you can set this to hours per lane, and you can set the price of bowling for 1 hour of bowling on that lane. If we go up to the top left, we can also assign shoes and socks pricing to whichever rate is highlighted. So every rate will have a corresponding bowling, shoes, and socks rate. Okay. And so it's very important to make sure that these rates all have everything that is necessary. Also, in the case of the open play rate, because I have that rate available until 1 a.m., you also need to make sure that the time zones correspond to the rate, the bowling rate time zone. So you want to make sure that everything is covered. Otherwise, after midnight for that 1 hour, you may not have a price for shoes, and then you're going to have a problem. So you always have to make sure that your time zones match up for the corresponding time zones that you have set up on the bowling rate itself. So we got those set up, and I can hit apply. You always want to hit apply after you're working on stuff so that it saves it to the database. And so that's the bowling rates. If we go back to click on bowling, we can also set up packages. The packages allow you to set packages that include bowling and food, or bowling and some other product. So if we click on this bowling pizza package, you can click on the list, clear over on the right hand side, and you can say what is included in this package. So there's 1 hour of bowling, there's shoes, and there's a large pizza. And if you look next to it, you can select how that unit is going to be assigned. And we have many different ways to assign this to the cost of that package. So shoes we have per lane fixed, and large pizza we have per lane fixed. So, and you can also add other things from your available products to combine with the bowling. And so if we go back to packages, and now that I have this bowling pizza package selected, you can also see that there is a um, minimum number of bowlers and a maximum number of bowlers that you can set. So this particular package requires you to have up to 4 bowlers minimum and as many as 6 bowlers. If we click on view prices at the bottom here, it'll bring up the rate for this. So we can say what days of the week it's available, same as before. You can set a tax rate if you wanted to, and the time zone of when this package is available. If we go to the price, right now it says details. If I hover over it, it tells me this package is $49.95. If I click on that, it brings up a breakdown, the package price definition, showing the bowling, shoes, and the large pizza. So if I look to the right here, there's 1 hour of bowling per lane, for, and $25 of the $49.95 is going to go to the hour of bowling. The shoes, $10 of the $49.95 is going to go towards shoes, and $14.95 of that price is going towards the pizza. So now it will break that down on your reporting and split that money up into the correct areas of your reporting. And that's really what the packages are intended to do, is to create a way that you can um, package things together, but at the same time, make sure that the money is allocated to the correct areas that you want it to. So if we go back to products, you can um, view the packages again. And here you can also assign things to groups. So if you wanted to assign this to bowling, you can assign that. If you wanted to, there's also other ways that you can do packages. So that example that we had was $50 almost for a package. This kid's birthday party package is a little bit different. We have bowling and we have hours per player fixed. And then we have shoes per player, hot dog per player, small drink per player. If we go back to the prices and look at how we have this one configured, we have $10 per player, hours per player fixed. We also have the shoes per player, hot dog, and drink per player. So this comes up to $14. And so in this example, the kid's birthday is charging $14 per kid. And so we have ways of configuring this to where when you open the lane, it's going to charge $14 per kid, or whatever the cost is that you want. You could always break it down however you need it to make sure that you come to the cost that you're wanting to get charged per child. Let's go back to the products. So those are the bowling and the packages for the bowling rates. And also here under bowling shoes and socks, you want to make sure that these are assigned to the correct group. So if we hit assign, we have the shoes under bowling, socks. We don't have it assigned to anything, just depends on what you want, where you want that money to go to. You may have a miscellaneous group, and the bowling is already assigned to bowling. So those groups are found down here on the lower right hand column, and you can create whatever groups you want. So we have bowling, we have lockers, we have pro shop stuff, we have beer, we have food. And so you can assign groups, you can create, add groups that you want, and then assign products and rates to groups. This will ensure that on your reports, these items will show up and be subtotaled based off of these groups here. And so you can set these groups, and then when you're working with the various products, you can assign them to groups. Under time games would be for anything that you um, choose that are any products or items that you have that you charge by the hour that is not bowling. So pool tables, shuffleboard tables, golf simulators. If we click on one of these, we see the same thing. So these you would want to assign to groups, and then we can click on, for example, pool tables, and we have the same exact setup. So you can choose days of the week and set up rates. So if your pricing went up on Friday and Saturday, you can create another rate by clicking plus and then assign those rates on just to be the for those days and change the pricing accordingly. Again, you can set up time zones and tax rates. You can set a minimum price here. So if you wanted on an hourly rate for this, you can set a minimum. Okay. And again, you have different units. So you can do minutes, hours, or the number of, based on the number of players for a time game. And you can set the price for it. And then if you made any changes, hit apply. If we go back to the upper left, we have a pro shop area. Pro shop can be used for pro shop, and it could also be used at as a location to store other miscellaneous um, products. So if we click on Pro Shop, it'll list those products. These products under Pro Shop and food and beverage are going to be products that will show up under your point of sale screen or your point of sale module. If we click on the plus, we can add a new product. We can assign a name. We can assign a color for the button. You could do a barcode. We have other items for bar items, manufacturer. You can assign a picture. So you can click on here and pull up a picture that you want to put on that point of sale button. You can designate whether this product can be used as a prize in some of our reward games. Okay. Um, this allows you to do a lot of different things there. So if we had another product, I need to add a bowling bag, and I can assign it a group. And so here I can just say Pro Shop for this group. Click OK. Then I can hit apply, or I could change the color. If I wanted to, I can choose from many different colors that we have in the system. Hit apply. Now that item is in there, and I got bowler's tape, bowling bag, bowling ball. You can also click on the top field and find items that have the word that you're looking for to narrow things down. You can select items by clicking on the first item, holding down the shift key, and clicking on another item. Or you can click on the control key and select individual items that you wanted to work with. And so this would allow you to select various products and then assign those to a group, or change the color for those highlighted items. And so it gives you some different ways of making it easier to make changes. Once you've added a product, you have to go to the left-hand side here, and you can click on that product. So I just added bowling bag. I can click on the bowling bag, click on plus, and now I have the bowling bag rate. I can again assign which days of the week or any other settings there. I can select the tax, and I can select the price. In this case, bowling bags is something that I don't keep in the inventory. I order them as my customers, um, request them, or place an order. And so if I have a catalog, they can pick one out, I can place the order, and then I can charge them. And so in this case, I can set the price to variable, and now that price will allow me, it'll come up as 0, but allow me to enter in a variable price. And now I can hit apply and save that. Go back to products, and we're done with the products on the point of sale. If I go to food and beverage, so let me minimize the Pro Shop and go into food and beverage. Under food and beverage, I have all my food and beverage items. And so if I click on this, it'll give me a list here. If I want to work only on, for example, my beer items, I can uncheck the food group and the soft drinks group. Now all I have is beers, and I can work on these. I can see the color coding that I have on these items or change it. I can add some more beer and add items to that list of products within that group. And I still have to assign it to the group, but now it allows me to work with just the beer and be able to make it a little bit easier instead of having to, sort through all of the other items that you may have on the list. Okay. If I wanted just food, I can uncheck the soft drinks and the food items. And here I can go through and set anything that I need to on here. When you're adding a food product, when you click on the plus, I can come in here and create an item. Let me add, let's say, a Philly cheesesteak. And I can change the color of that item if I wanted to. Go up here, maybe choose a color. Oh, I got fix this. And on food items, you can assign it to the group, but on a food item, we also have the capability of adding or editing the customizations. So here, I can click on Philly cheesesteak, edit customizations, and I can add customizations to this. I could either import it from another product or just add stuff in. So in this case, the Philly cheesesteak comes with onions and peppers by default. So, and cheese. So I can say no onions. I can say no peppers, and I can add another one, no cheese. If I could type. And you can order them by clicking move up, move down, alphabetically order. And when you're done, you can click OK. You can also add products. For example, this hamburger, if I edit the customizations, we have cheese and we have bacon where it's adding cost to that product. And so you can um, add customizations that you can also enter in an amount to add cost to that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with the customizations. Um, we also have at the bottom a quick prices editor. This allows you to quickly in a spreadsheet type view go through and look at your pricing and be able to change stuff on the fly by clicking on that field. Or at the bottom, you can increase or decrease by a fixed amount or by a percentage and hit apply, and it'll automatically increase everything if you wanted to increase your cost by a certain percentage or a certain amount. And then you can save it. In this case, I'm not making any changes, so I'll just hit cancel and click yes. Go back to products. So this is how you work on your products and your food and beverage products. There's also the last step. Whenever you've added a point of sale product, you always have to go to the configuration manager and add it to the point of sale screen. But here we are just working with modifying the rates and the prices and the actual products. So I need to go back. I never finished with the Philly cheesesteak. I need to go in here and set the price for that item. And so if I come in here, I can say Philly cheesesteak is $7.95 and it's got tax on it as well. And I can hit apply. Now that product is in there. We also have a way for the food and beverage products where you can assign a order printer. And so once the in the configuration manager, again, you have to go and assign printers to the system. But here we can assign order printers for food. So I can click on this group name and choose just the food items because I want all the food items to print out on a specific printer. And you can isolate it by workstation as well if you wanted to. But here I'm going to assign an order printer for this, and I'm going to say I'm printing all of these food orders to the kitchen ticket printer. and click yes. And now all of the products have been assigned to the kitchen ticket printer. Okay. And you can make changes if you have a specific food item that maybe you don't want it to print out. You can always remove it from there. Let's say popcorn. You click on the X and remove it from that printer so it doesn't print out. Certain things may not need to be printed out every time. For example, soft drinks and certain food items maybe, but you can always remove individual items that you don't want to print. And then you click OK. And now whenever an order has been made for the food, you can have it printing out to your kitchen ticket printer. And the kitchen ticket printer could be assigned as your receipt printer right there. If everything is done right by the snack bar, you can consolidate and have just that one printer do everything. Um, so that's more or less it for the products and rates. Again, if you have any questions or you need assistance with anything regarding the products and rates, please give us a call and we'd be glad to help you. Thank you and have a great day.